thank you to the Art Initiative and particularly Shurut for organizing these events that somehow it's a kind of also a platform for self-criticism and we hope also for investigating new strategies that can be both critically and propositionally, how we can deal with certain problems. And in fact, maybe just a brief introduction, because I really like then to link maybe this panel with the panel on the previous panel, which is I think we all heard a kind of political vision or problems in Palestine. And what we'll try to do is not to forget about our context in which we operate every day, because we all live here, but also trying to create spaces, at least that give us some freedom to think about different political alternatives. So what I thought for today is a very brief presentation, which is based actually with trying to tell a story of one of our projects that we did in a city, in a village that's called Batir, which is between Bethlehem and Jerusalem. And was also inspired very much by the desire that every night we have 2 daughters. So every night they ask me about new stories. So in that sense, one night I started to tell as a story, the project as a story to my kids, Tala and Sama. They are 2 and 4 years old. And this is what I like to present you tonight. In 1993, a series of secret talks held in Oslo between Israeli and Palestinian representatives inaugurated what was later referred to as the Oslo process. As is well known, this process defined 3 types of territories within the West Bank. Area A, under Palestinian control, Area B, under Israeli military control and Palestinian civilian control, and Area C, under full Israeli control. When the process collapsed and the temporary organization of the occupied territories solidified into a permanent splintering geography of multiple prohibitions, a 4th place has been suddenly discovered. It was the width of the line, less than a millimeter thick when drawn on the scale of 1 to 20,000. It measured 5.5 meters in the real space. We might reiterate here an old question. Who owns the thickness of the line? With Area A, B, and C already claimed by different forms of cooperating governments that ruled the West Bank, the thickness of the line represents an extraterritorial entity, perhaps all that remains from Palestine, a thin but powerful space for potential political transformation. Batir, a small village west of Bethlehem, was the place where at the end of 2009, for the first time, the thickness of the line acquired a legal and a political meaning. Regavim, one of the several organizations of the Jewish settlers that has started to invert the NGO and human rights discourse of pro-Palestinian left in campaigning for the human rights for settlers and documenting their violations, filed a petition against the Palestinian house, a big house, known as the Red Castle, part of which they claim transgressed into an Area C. In a petition submitted to the Israeli High Court, they demanded the demolition of the house, or at least the parts that were in Area C. If there is a settlement freeze, the settlers claim, and is this free enforced on Jewish colonies in Area C, it should be democratically and equally enforced to the Palestinian, right? The Red Castle, of course, was not simply a house. It was nothing less than a castle in neoclassical style, in curved, beautiful limestone, and paid by an eccentric US-based millionaire, originally from Batir. Its prominence across the landscape made it clear target for the settlers. The petition generated a proliferation of new maps, each arguing a different location of the line. The line acquired suddenly an elastic dimension, starts to move. The legal team hired by the owner of the house located the line surprisingly in the middle of the house, dividing the house in three parts. One part in Area B, one part in Area C, and one part is inside the line. In this case, geopolitics acquired an architectural dimension. This meant that the line had to be zoomed into, and when zoomed into, the line defined a wide strip that occupied much of the interior, stretching between the bathrooms, across the stairwell, and through the living rooms. Batir is only one of the 142 atolls produced by the Oslo Accords. Every Palestinian city and village is surrounded by this unlegislated, I would say anarchic, spatial ring. With our research in collaboration with the legendary anthropologist Nicola Perugini and also legendary architect in Batir, Samir Harb, the idea was actually to put the law on trial. So in July 2010, we hired a lawyer and asked him to represent the line in an Israeli court, claiming it as an autonomous space, as a subject. At the beginning, he laughed, but finally said, "Actually, I'm dealing every day with legal cases against the construction of the wall. The only thing that I can do is to push the line more here and more there. But I can never challenge the very existence of the line themselves." The very nature of the political space in Palestine today is not defined by political agreements, but operates through its legal voids, right in the middle of the impossible lines of separations. Investigating the fallout of geopolitical lines into a domestic space of a house, a mosque, or a stadium, the aim is to unveil the colonial regime over Palestine. It is through the extraterritorial dimension of these legal voids, maybe a small tier in the territorial system, we seek to open up and perhaps to propose the tearing apart of the entire system of divisions. Thank you.